First, we need to learn vocabulary. How do we learn vocabulary? Three ways. There are three ways to learn vocabulary. First one is spaced repetition or repetition. Yeah. This is the way we used to learn in school. They used to make us learn this. This was the level. They gave us a list of 10 sentences for home to memorize. They're not sentences, words in English, like dog, ball, I don't know, school, and then in Spanish next to it, and you have to rewrite them over and over again until you and hope to remember them. Spaced repetition is you see that you review a list, and then next day you review the same list, and in 3 days again. So and this is a proven method, right? Spaced repetition. You see something, and then you see it regularly, and then slowly the frequency with which you have to review it drops, because the more you review it, the more you remember it, and eventually you just have to occasionally review it, and finally it just you end up memorizing it. It works, but it's very slow. This just sheer repetition, just repeating things aloud, or just looking at this, especially with no context. No, it works if you do it right. Spaced repetition, the concept. Then we get comprehensible input. This is every YouTuber's favorite. Or I can call it context as well. Learn in context. You see the words inside a sentence, you hear them, context, and eventually you learn them in context. There are problems with that as well. I'll tell you why. What's the main problem with it? It's definitely more effective than just learning a vocabulary list. Let's learn kitchen vocab, and you have a list of 10 words for the kitchen, and you learn them all, like fork, spoon, this, and then the next day vocabulary for something else. That's extremely ineffective, boring, slow. This, if you say you hear a conversation about the kitchen, it's more likely that you remember the words. But again, studies show that you need to see each word 10, 12, maybe 20 times in context to remember it. And the problem is, after the first 500, 1000, 2000 even words, and you need around 10,000 words to be fluent, frequency of the words drops dramatically. Yeah, it's a Pareto principle. First few thousand words are super common. After that, they not common at all. So you need to do insane amounts of watching, reading, etc., to see all the other words in context enough times. Very slow. This is why Dream Spanish and that kind of comprehensible input channels and all that, they're a massive waste of time. Okay. So what's the solution? The solution is mnemonic associations. Mnemonic associations are the best way to memorize lots of items quickly. You can memorize long lists very quickly. The people who are the best at this, memory champions, they can memorize thousands of words in a day. I don't. Normally I go for a few hundred. I've done over 1,000, spending all day doing it. It was a lot of work. But 100, couple hundred words a day, very doable, and it's not too tiring if you train yourself to do it. Basically, you take a word and you create a mental image for it, and then you take the meaning of the word and you create a mental image for it. Yeah. And then you create a story with it. Something that's shocking, weird. Sex and violence works as well. Something that's kind of weird and unmemorable. Mental image of the word, mental image of something that sounds like the new word, and then associate them, and you have to actually visualize it. And if you it sounds weird now, but if you practice, you can get very good at it. You can start with 20 or 30 words a day, which is already a lot compared to what people learn. People learn 3 words, 5 words a day, and they'll be like, yeah, eventually I'll be fluent. No, if you learn 3 words or 5 words a day, it'll take you a decade to learn a language well. If you learn 20, 30 a day, it'll be much faster. And if you learn this skill and you're able to memorize over 100 words a day, it'll take weeks for you to understand it well. Yeah, the language. So my advice is to learn the association technique and combine it with this too. This is like steroids for this too. Yeah, spaced repetition, seeing the same words over and over and over again. It works if you do a lot of it and you do it for a very long time. If you associate the vocab and then occasionally review it, you need you need to review it much less frequently and much fewer times, and you'll still remember it. And also, if you associate the vocab and then listen to the language, read it, most of the most common, if you've already associated the most common words, you'll understand a lot. So you'll be able to, and if you understand more from day one, and then you keep memorizing more and more vocab, you'll be able to very easily read or listen to the language. Understand. If you understand more, you can do more of it. You get more stuff in context. You can do more in less time, and it's a snowball that keeps going faster, getting bigger. So yeah, it's like basically it's like injecting steroids and on this too. It makes it much faster. Yeah. So this is how you learn vocabulary.